You're listening to the Love Your Neighbor podcast.
Well, thank you for joining us on the Love Your Neighbor podcast. My name is John, and the Links podcast is brought to you by Brandon Wellness. And our goal is to invest and build in the community of Brandon. And today we have a very special guest. Chad Padgett is joining us. Chad, thanks for coming on.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and we're going to get to know your story a little bit. But we were just talking about being in the customer service business. There's probably a lot of people watching this that know exactly who you are, just because they see you.
Yep. I'm sure.
But it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. How do you remember every single customer's name? How do you do that?
I do not.
You don't. But you are. How long have you been working at Sunshine? Like
26 years. I started when I was 15.
Okay. Wow. So it's been a part of your life since.
Yeah. People that have been in Brandon remember it as Jubilee Foods back when I started. We were back in the old store where they got the 605 or that box place. Should know the name of it, but
bargain boxes.
Bargain bins. So that was the store back then. And when I started. So I started in August of 96, and end of October of 96, the new store opened up.
Okay.
So it was I got in the transition of it.
So Sunshine came to town in 96?
No.
Tony
had just built a new store.
I see.
Yeah. I can't remember the exact year we switched to Sunshine. I know they bought some of the Sunshine stores in Sioux Falls. And we still were Jubilee, but then eventually all the stores switched to the Sunshine Foods name.
Okay, gotcha. See, something I did not know.
We used to wear gold ties and blue aprons and look like clowns.
There's a lot of people that can remember that.
I bet they will. Probably.
If you have any pictures of this, we would love to see pictures of this.
Oh, yeah, we got pictures. I'd probably have to go steal some from Tony. I know his office used to be full of pictures.
Okay.
And, it was always, every time you're up in his office, you'd see all these old pictures, and kind of funny to see everybody.
What's it been like working for, now, tell us a little bit about your role now with Sunshine Foods. It's changed a little bit. Tell us where you're at now.
I'm one of the owners. There's 4 of us that own the Brandon store and the catering, Tony's Catering. So we bought Tony out a few years ago. My day-to-day is whatever needs to be done. I unlock the doors every morning. I'm there 7 days a week and come in, get my stuff done as much as I can. And usually I got to go out on catering deliveries at noon. That's what I was doing before I came here. Worked out good.
Yeah.
A lot of nights with catering. Catering's busy, especially on the weekends. Now we're getting into the holidays. So it's just a different, we go from wedding season to now holidays. A lot of turkey meals. Prime rib meals, so get to eat a lot of good food.
I was going to say, when I go into Sunshine, I can always tell if there's a lot going on because you'll have back in the
beehive.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's people everywhere and there's stuff going, and I'm like, how do you keep track of all of these orders?
We could have 10 jobs going on a Saturday night, weddings, and that's not the day stuff. I mean, we do a lot of funerals, so it's a lot of daytime stuff. So there might be 30 jobs on a Saturday.
Wow. Now, just for, in terms of just general volume, what's the volume between the grocery store? We're not giving away trade secrets here, are we? But the volume of the grocery store versus the catering, is it?
The store is more volume, more consistent. Okay. The catering will beat the store in sales sometimes, when we got big jobs. Big weeks. This week going to be a big week because we got a lot of stuff going on this week. So it might push the grocery store in sales. So,
so is there? So it's one, but it's one business.
It is. It's one business. Okay. 2 names, but one business. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's the furthest that is there anybody that you ever tell no when it comes to catering?
Yeah. We've started to have to turn down weddings on Saturdays because we like to hold it at 8 jobs. I told you we do 10. We've had 10 a lot this summer.
Okay.
So we try to do 8. Last year we had 12, 13 jobs on a Saturday, and it just got to be too much. You want to focus and make sure you do the ones you got right.
Sure.
So we do get booked up on Saturday nights in the summertime. As far as distance, we travel. People got to pay mileage, but we go up to North Dakota. I go down to Plainview, Nebraska 3-4 times a year. They got an ethanol plant down there. So
no kidding.
Do Plainview Fire Department, do the ethanol's Christmas party, their annual meeting, golf tournament. So yeah, wow. get a lot of traveling too.
Wow, that is a lot. I can't imagine that. But it's something. It's really all you've known, really. I mean, would you say pretty much your entire career has been in the business?
It has, yeah. So wow. Don't know any better. Get up, go to work every day.
Sure. There's some. I love. I got to know Craig when he was in school at Augustana. He played while I was coaching there, and so I've always just appreciated his hustle.
Yeah,
I mean he's a hustler.
He is. Yeah, he grew up with his. Tony definitely made the kids grow up real fast and early. Craig's been working in the store since he could walk. Wow. I remember when he was just when I started. Sure. Well, I don't know how old Craig is, but 26 years ago, he was in probably elementary school, and he's just little kid that apron dragging on the floor, running around.
Yeah. What have you? And I know I've just met Tony a few times and talked to him several times. But what would you say? Working day to day with him for 27 years. What's one thing that you could boil it down to that you've learned from him that you'd like to pass on to a 14 or 15-year-old that's listening right now that wants to come work at Sunshine? If you had to boil Tony into one thing that you've learned from him, what would it be?
Hard work. Tony's always just pushed go, hard work. It's easier to ask for forgiveness and permission, It's a motto I've learned from him. We're definitely harder workers than we are smart. So,
well, you guys do an amazing business, and I had the privilege of having one of those moments where I was asked for forgiveness. Something had happened in a scenario, and I was blessed with being appreciated and thanked. Yeah. And he said, "Boy, we apologize." And I'll never forget that moment because it made me feel like I was extremely special. Yeah. And I didn't even do anything. Something got messed up, and I just went to say, "Hey, this got messed up. I don't want to cause a problem." But boy, I tell you what, the customer service that I received through Sunshine Foods I was like, "Whoa, that's awesome." Made me feel like it endeared me to who you guys are. So, well, let's talk a little bit about, Chad. I want you to tell a little bit of story about your story. Okay, now that's the Sunshine. We got the Sunshine out of the way.
We got that out of the way. We started later in life.
Tell me a little bit about you and your family.
I've always been in the area. I told you that. Grew up living out by Renner, just a couple miles east of Renner Corner, and it's the Brandon School District. So grew up out there. Which had a lot of friends out there. We were in a housing development, but, I always wanted to live in Brandon because, when my friends would all get together or whatever, there's a few times I had to ride my bike from Renner to Brandon. It was 12 mile.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't imagine my kids doing that now.
Must have been good friends.
People, you could trust drivers on the highway a little more back then too. They weren't stuck in their phones and
sure.
But, been in Brandon my whole life. Enjoyed sports growing up. My wife, she's from Garrettson. She graduated from Garrettson. We have 3 kids. They're growing up fast. Got one. They're 19, 15, and 13. So my oldest is down in Nebraska at Lincoln.
Okay.
So he's a freshman down there. Okay. And then my daughter, Olivia, she's a freshman in high school, and then I got a 7th grader, Ava. Wow.
It goes by quick, doesn't it?
It does. It's kind of neat because I look back at when I was their age, I started working, and then my life started to, all of a sudden I quit playing sports. I was just working. So I'm glad I try to keep them away from the store a little bit. They'll help out if I need them to. Mason, my son, he worked at the store quite a bit, but and still was able to play sports. But I don't want them to get into dropping sports so young just for work.
Yeah, there's a lot in that of working as hard as you've worked for as long as you've worked, and now you're entering into a new season of, you're part of the ownership. Like, you get to help others, and so talk to me a little bit about some of your family. You had mentioned that your family has been in the Brandon area for a long time, like going way back.
Yes.
Did they homestead in the area?
Yeah, so it'd be my grandpa's grandpa would have homesteaded, and then they've just always been in the area. Like I said, we were in between Valley and Brandon is where they were. I know, in a dirt house.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the 1800s. But so, yeah, my family's always been from here. And then even my dad's side of the family was from Sioux Falls area. So he went to Lincoln, graduated from there.
So that Padgett, so what was the family name?
Jonasson is my mom's side. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty amazing when you think back that people lived in this part of the world in like a dirt house. That was a real thing.
Yeah. It'd be tough in the wintertime.
It'd be tough. I suppose in the summer it'd be a little cooler. Yeah. Let's pay for AC, but man, I think about that and our, even us, we're talking like we're old, but we're really pretty young.
Yeah.
Imagine I can't even imagine what that'd be like
to
be out in those conditions. You go out to Beaver, you go out to that Beaver Valley nature area and there's that homestead there.
Yeah.
And whenever I go out there to walk or whatever, I just think about, man, 200 years ago or 150 years ago, you couldn't go to Sunshine to get a gallon of milk.
No. It'd be self-sufficient.
Man. It's crazy to think about that, but that's really cool. So were there a lot of, did you have any good stories that you remember or things that you could go back and?
Not really. I got a bad memory. So if somebody said a story, I'd be, I remember that story, but I can't think of nothing off the top of my head.
Sure.
But my mom grew up. So if you get off the Valley exit off I-90 and head north, it would have been the first farm place on the right-hand side of the road. Okay. They are not there anymore. They eventually moved out by Valley, so they live, my mom lives in my grandparents' house, so I still got the place. Acreage, got horses out there.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, your mom I understood, I got to be a part of a family event here, and she loves horses.
Yeah.
And your family grows up with them. That's pretty cool. Well, that's cool, man. What would you say? What is your favorite part? Now, you've obviously chose Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anybody that ride their bike 12 miles to get to Brandon.
Boring out in the country.
But what do you love? What do you still love about Brandon? What is it about Brandon? You get to see so many people every day, I'm sure. What is it that you love about our community?
It has to be the people. Just being in a small community that we still have a lot of things in Brandon. We're small. It's nice not to have to go to Sioux Falls for everything. School system. I don't know what's not to like about Brandon.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah,
that's a good way of looking at it. I appreciate all the things that that we have, and that sometimes we don't understand how good we have it. And sometimes I guess that's kind of the point. We need to stop and go and say thanks. So. Well, I tell you what, it's been great to have you here, Chad, and I appreciate you sharing your story, and I'm excited for you and the future of Sunshine Foods and
thank you.
And Tony's Catering. I know you guys play a huge part every year in the prayer breakfast and catering that. I always look forward to that, and
it's gotten to be a big event.
It has.
Yeah, I can't remember what we served this last year, but it keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, somebody said I think it was a little over 700.
Yeah, we used to do egg bake, and now they switched it to breakfast sandwiches, which on our end is so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
But
quick,
we can't see,
go.
Yeah, we couldn't seat everybody.
No.
There's not enough room for everybody to sit in there. So they have to kind of grab it. And a lot of those kids are heading out, going different places.
I remember last year was huge too with the kid from Hills was guest speaker. So the whole Hills school came last year.
Yeah, it's been a great turnout. But well, I tell you what, thank you for what you do, and also I want to just recognize this is something that I talked with Craig about. Of course, didn't want a lot of this publicity, but our podcast is for Brandon Wellness, and so I want to personally thank you for the investment that you guys made and giving the gift that you did to Brandon Wellness. This dream of having a wellness center and building this has been a dream that really has been shared by a lot of people in Brandon.
Yeah, and I'm excited for it.
I can't wait. Like I talk with folks, like you, and it's like, man, we need to have this.
Yeah.
We need to have this. And so part of these conversations is to generate the resources required. And so thank you for believing in us and believing in this vision of having a wellness center.
Yeah.
Along with all the other things that you do. Thank you for your lead gift, really the single largest gift we've gotten from anyone in our community. And so thank you for being, I know it's not been out there a lot, but I appreciate what you guys have done for us and for the whole community long term. So appreciate it a lot. So, well, you got to probably get back to it. So thank you for stopping in, and we'll.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Chad.
Thank you for joining us on the Love Your Neighbor podcast. The purpose of the Love Your Neighbor podcast is to build community one conversation at a time. You can help us build that community by sharing the podcast on your social media channels and rating our podcast on whatever platform you're listening from. Another way is to let us know of any neighbors who have a story. Go Lynx!